8,000 on to the down, 8,000 on to the down to 9, 8,000 on to the down to 9, 8,000 on to the down to 9, 9,000 on to the down to 10, 9,000.
While many of you have attended auction sales, whether they be industrial, car auctions, estate sales, few of you have ever been on the selling side of things. Here at Tauber Aarons, we want to make you feel as comfortable as possible on the seller side. My name is Tony Aarons, and I am President and CEO of Tauber Aarons. Tauber Aarons is in the middle of its 4th generation of existence, making us the longest running, most well-established industrial auction company in the country. Our good reputation has been built over our 118 years of existence. We were established in Chicago in 1892 and moved to Los Angeles, California in 1926, where we are headquartered here today. When you contact Tauber Aarons, you'll be comfortable with the knowledge that the person you initially speak to will be the one handling your project from start to finish. We'll set up a meeting at your facility where we will come out and inspect your equipment, walk the plant with you, and give you a very good understanding of what we think you have there dollar-wise and what it's going to cost to get you through the auction process. The expenses are comprised of the labor and advertising. The advertising is all the promotional materials, the brochure, the newspapers, the trade journals, to get the word out on your auction sale. The labor involves all the setup work, the conducting of the auction sale, and then facilitating removal. We'll get a very good idea of what those costs will be once we see your facility. Once you engage Tauber Aarons to conduct your auction sale, the first step is to come back to your facility and do a full write-up on all the major pieces of equipment that we're going to be selling at the auction sale. We'll take photographs of the equipment at that time as well. From that, we will prepare the brochure, the website, and all other media that we will be advertising in.
Do I need to shut down the operation during the setup process?
No. While we would love to have full access to your equipment in the facility, you don't have to shut down immediately when we get there. Ideally, the facility would be shut down, but realistically, you can continue operations up until about a week before the auction.
At what point will the people within my industry know that I'm closing down?
Typically, about 3 to 4 weeks before the auction sale. Once the advertising hits the LA Times, it's probably 4 weeks before the auction sale, all the newspapers. The brochure typically gets sent out about a month before the auction sale. That's when the industry will probably know that you're closing down. During that time, that month before the auction sale, you'll be busy collecting all your receivables, closing down your corporation. The one thing that you won't have to worry about is the sale of the machinery and equipment. That's in Tauber Aarons' hands. Once the setup process is over and your facility is completely cleaned and lotted up, we'll conduct an open house, an inspection, for 2 days before the auction sale. We'll also be open the morning of the auction sale, starting at 8 o'clock until the start of the sale. It's at this time when potential buyers will have the opportunity to register for the auction sale by signing one of our buyer's cards.
When the buyer registers, what are the legal ramifications of the default of the buyer?
Well, it doesn't happen often. Sometimes buyers have remorse after the auction sale. If that is the case at your sale, Tauber Aarons will enforce the buyer's card that has been signed during registration. Both buyer and the auctioneer have a copy of this, making it a valid contract. If one of the buyers at your sale does have remorse, Tauber Aarons will seek all legal action to ensure that all bills do get paid. Once the sale starts, the action is brisk. We use the beginning part of the auction sale as a period for all the potential buyers to get to feel comfortable with Tauber Aarons. Our floormen try to introduce themselves to all the potential bidders that are there. Our deposit takers are taking deposits and introducing themselves so that people feel more comfortable with Tauber Aarons and the auction process.
My name is Steve Quell. I'll be taking you through the rest of the process. Once that we have completed some of the smaller equipment, we have warmed up the crowd and gotten to know each other, and now we're moving into the larger piece of equipment. At that point, usually the games and jokes are over with and we're moving on to the larger pieces and trying to obtain a more serious atmosphere. You can see by the piece we're selling right now that the crowd has brought themselves into a closer view of the equipment, and there's a little bit more intensity in the sale going on. And the active bidders, as you'll see the process goes, are usually standing right by the machinery. This almost invariably happens is when a person wants a piece of equipment, they have a tendency to stand right by it, which helps us when we walk up to the piece of equipment. Out of the corner of our eye, we're always watching who's standing next to the piece of equipment, so we already know when we get started who the bidders are going to be. As we move on with the auction sale, almost invariably there is a piece of equipment that has 3 or 4 of the pieces that work with it. The owner always feels they have to go together, so what we do is we offer both ways. We offer it together as a unit, and then we offer it piece by piece and whoever brings the most. The reason we offer it bulk first is because people have a tendency to sit on their hands if we sell it at the end in bulk. So what we do is we offer it bulk first, and then we go piece by piece. Almost always it sells piece by piece. So you can see in this one piece of equipment that we're selling, the pull-up cutter. It has a stacker, it has a feeder, it has the feed sections go with it. We offer it bulk first, and then we go piece by piece. And you can see as the bidding goes that we end up selling piece by piece to the individual high bidders. As we move on with the sellout, we sold the pull-up cutter. We moved on to the Heidelberg 10-color prints. At that point, as you can see, the crowd has gathered around the press. Almost all attendees have cornered themselves around the press. And we take a little bit more time and explain what the press has, trying to build some momentum going on to some of their piece of equipment. You'll notice in this video at some point that the person who buys the press is standing right by the press, of course. Now, an auction sale is not just a person calling out bids. An auction sale is the coordination between the person selling, which was myself at that time, and I believe Tony was at that time standing right next to the gentleman who was bidding on the press. You'll see the coordination between the person selling and the person that's working the floor. Whether I'm selling or Tony's selling, it's that coordination between the two of us that is able to obtain the maximum bids.
So after the auction sale, who is responsible for releasing the equipment to the buyers?
That is the responsibility of ourselves. Again, once we sell the equipment, is just the continuation of the entire auction process. Our people are there from day one all the way through the setup, sale day, and during checkout, the most important part, we ensure the right people get the right things and they are not destroying your building when they're removing the equipment. Like any other business, the auction business is based on reputation. Reputation, as we all know, takes forever to try and build. It takes 2 seconds to tear down. Tauber Aarons is a 110-year-old auction company. Tony is the 4th generation. I've been in the business for 40 years. I've been with Tauber Aarons for 35 years. We have always had the reputation that what we say we're going to do, we do. We've had the reputation that if we give you a number, that we're going to achieve that number at the auction sale. We're not in the business to tell you a high number to get an auction sale contract signed with you. During the auction process, again, the gentleman who signs the auction contract with you has also appraised the equipment. He has projected the advertising, gone through the auction process with you. So what we're basically saying to you is you're dealing with one person. You're dealing with a person who knows the value of the equipment and can sell the equipment.
$4,000 bids. Sold $375,000. What's your number, sir?